Hello, beautiful people of the internet. How are you doing today? My name is Jackie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. You've probably noticed that today I am in a different setting. That is because I'm currently sitting on the floor of my closet at my father's house where I have basically no clothes. And inside this closet, I found a big box full of some of my favorite childhood books. So in this video, I want to take a little stroll down memory lane and show you guys some of the books that helped develop my love for reading. So the first book that I saw in this box sitting on top is one of the very first books that I ever remember reading. I used to read it every night with my dad for my bedtime story, and that is the Disney Storybook Collection. I know I used to have another one of these that was a gold color. I can only find this blue one here now in my closet. Basically, this is a book of different stories based on Disney movies. So it basically just tells the story of the movie in a shorter, easy to read piece. So when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I would read these every single night with my dad, and then once I knew how to read, I would read them to him. Let's see what stories we have in this one. There is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, Bambi, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, Mickey's Christmas Carol, Oliver and Company, The Prince and the Pauper, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast. That one was one of my favorites. My dad and I, Belle is both of our favorite Disney princesses, and you know why? Because she likes books. Aladdin, that one I also really loved. I think I just loved that story a lot. The Lion King, Pocahontas, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mickey and the Beanstalk, and Three Little Pigs. So, man, this is a throwback for me. Okay, this next one is a good one. It is the Magic Treehouse series. Oop, they're trying to slip out. By Mary Pope Osborne. So this series follows a young brother and sister named Jack and Annie who discover this mysterious treehouse, and when they go inside the treehouse, it is a time machine that takes them back to different periods in the past. So this book was really fun. They went to different time periods, and every story got into different misadventures, and it really helped me learn about different eras as a kid, but it didn't feel like learning because the stories were so fun. I think the wizard Merlin from Arthurian legend was also a character in these books, so gave me a little childhood introduction to mythology. Here they all are so you can see them. Sorry if I keep brushing my bangs out of my face. I'm getting my hair done and my bangs are really long. So it's Dinosaurs Before Dark, The Night at Dawn, Mummies in the Morning, and Pirates Past Noon. And I have a whole lot more of these books in the box, so I'm going to pull them all out for you. Look at this stack. These are all my Magic Treehouse books, plus the 4 that I already showed you. Okay, so we have Midnight on the Moon, Vacation Under the Volcano, which is about Pompeii, Day of the Dragon King. I don't even remember what this is about, but now I'm kind of intrigued. Viking Ships at Sunrise, Civil War on Sunday, Revolutionary War on Wednesday. Man, that's an eventful week. Blizzard of the Blue Moon. This one is sparkly. It's glittery. It has a unicorn on it. Oh, I bet my 7-year-old self absolutely went nuts for that. Dragon of the Red Dawn. Ooh, cool. I love dragons. Christmas in Camelot, a little more Arthurian legend. And Monday with a Mad Genius. I remember I also had one where Jack and Annie go back to the Ice Age. I don't remember what it was called. It was something with Sabretooth in the title, like Saturday with the Sabretooth or something like that. And we were flying somewhere, probably to like Disney World or something. and my mom left the book inside the pocket of the seat in front of her, and I cried and cried and cried. I was so upset. And I mean, obviously, I know now, like, she could have just gone out and bought me another book. But to my 7-year-old self, like, the world as I knew it was over because my mom had forgotten my Magic Treehouse book on the plane. Up next, another series that is always going to have a special place in my heart, and that is the Nancy Drew mystery stories. I have 4 of them right here. I know that at some point I had way more than 4. I probably had like 20 Nancy Drew books. I don't know what happened to all of them, but Nancy Drew just used to be my favorite series. And if you don't know what Nancy Drew is, it is a series of mysteries following a teenage sleuth named Nancy Drew, who is always out there trying to solve mysteries, getting herself in precarious situations with the help of her best friends, Bess and George. And there was her friend Helen, who just one day stopped being in the books. # Justice for Helen. I know I definitely had the first 6 books, which are listed here on the back. The Secret of the Old Clock, The Hidden Staircase, The Bungalow Mystery, The Mystery at Lilac Inn, The Secret of Shadow Ranch, and The Secret of Redgate Farm. I don't know what happened to those copies, but the ones that I have here are number 9, The Sign of the Twisted Candles, number 11, The Clue of the Broken Locket, number 36, The Secret of the Golden Pavilion, and number 64, Captive Witness. I know I definitely had a lot more. I just don't know what happened to them. This was my absolute favorite series. Nancy Drew might be the reason why I still love mystery stories to this day. When I was in elementary school, our local township library had a Write and Illustrate Your Own Book contest, and I, being the unoriginal 3rd grader that I was, created a complete knockoff of Nancy Drew about my own teenage sleuth. Her name was Kelly, and I wrote 3 books in that series. I think 1 year I won honorable mention, 4th grade I won 1st place, which I was so proud of. It was the crowning glory of my life up until that moment. The 3rd year, I don't think I won anything. No, maybe I won 3rd place that year. Oh yeah, because then there was one more year where, again, being unoriginal, I wrote a vampire story because that was when Twilight was all the rage, and that one didn't place because I'm pretty sure every single girl was writing a Twilight knockoff that year. But that's besides the point. The point is, Nancy Drew was so special to me, and it was one of the first book series that I read entirely on my own, and I really think my modern day reading tastes, I owe a lot of that to Nancy Drew. I actually found my bookmark inside this copy of Captive Witness. It's a Presidents of the United States of America bookmark. My dad must have given this to me. It sounds exactly like something he would have. I guess this was the book that I was in the middle of reading when I finally just stopped reading Nancy Drew. I guess I just put this down one day and didn't pick it up again. I was on chapter 9. Wow, I picked a really bad time to stop because Nancy's boyfriend Ned was kidnapped. Man, I guess I just was not emotionally invested in whether or not Ned was going to live. Is this actually the last? Because it says collect the complete Nancy Drew mystery stories, and it says 64, Captive Witness, is the last one. Wow, my younger self picked a really bad time to stop reading Nancy Drew. We have another series of books that really started my interest in historical fiction. When I was younger, I loved historical fiction. I loved books that would teach me something, teach me a different era, but that were still fun and had good stories. And so what I have here is the Dear America series of books by various authors. Each one of these books was in a diary format, and it would take the form of a diary of a young girl living in a certain era of American history. The 3 ones I have here are Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, The Diary of Bess Brennan, The Perkins School for the Blind, 1932. Voyage on the Great Titanic, The Diary of Margaret Ann Brady, RMS Titanic, 1912. And lastly, So Far From Home, The Diary of Mary Driscoll, an Irish Mill Girl, Lowell, Massachusetts, 1847. There's actually still a bookmark in this one too. Man, I am finding all these bookmarks today. They must have given this to me in elementary school. It says, dive into reading. Look how fun. There were so many other books in the series that I would check out of my school library all the time. Just the ones I remember reading. I remember reading one about a girl who was sailing with the Pilgrims. She was one of the Pilgrims. I remember my absolute favorite one was about the Oregon Trail. There was one about the Revolutionary War at Valley Forge. There was, ones about the Civil War. There was one about the attack on Pearl Harbor, and I remember vividly, I told my grandma, all proud of myself, Grandma, I know what day the Pearl Harbor attack was. And my grandmother made a huge fuss, like, oh, Jackie's so smart, because, that's just what grandmothers do. Another one of my favorites was about an English girl who becomes a settler in Minnesota. There were so many different ones. Oh, another one I really liked was about a girl who she's kidnapped by a Native American tribe, and she ends up having to marry one of the Native Americans and ends up falling in love with him. And I remember I was so sad at the end of the book because, spoiler alert, her family finds her and brings her back to her old life, and she doesn't get to see him anymore. And my younger self was so sad because I was like, why? They're in love. They deserve to be together. And yeah, I just learned a lot from these series, and man, I really enjoyed them. I would read them all the time. The last series that I enjoyed as a child, which I want to talk about in this video, is the Great Illustrated Classics series. So this was a series which took classic novels and reimagined them as a story that a younger person could understand, and all of them also had pictures which I used to like to color in, as you can see here. Look what I did to her cheeks. I just put a big pink glob right there. And man, I read so many of these. My absolute favorite was Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I read this book so many times that the spine on my first copy fell apart, and I had to get a second copy because I had ruined the first one by reading it so many times. My other favorite was Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. If you watched my book unhaul challenge, I actually was still holding on to my Great Illustrated Classic version of Pride and Prejudice, which I ended up unhauling because I don't look at it anymore and I didn't see a point in keeping it. But that was another one that I really loved. When I was younger, Jo March and Elizabeth Bennet were my favorite characters, and they were inspirations to me in my life. I loved that Jo March was a writer and that Elizabeth Bennet was so smart and independent, and the two of them weren't going to settle for men that didn't appreciate them, and they both ended up getting happy endings. And I told myself when I was younger that I was going to grow up to be like them, and I think those characters were really great role models for me in my life, and they are still among my favorite characters in literature. Other books in the series I read include this one right here, Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. Other ones I remember reading, Jane Eyre, Pollyanna, Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, The Secret Garden, The Little Mermaid and Other Stories. What else was there? I think that's about it. I think I got all the major ones. Then I also have 3 other books in the series right here that I don't even know if I ever read these. If I did, I have absolutely no memory of reading them. First is White Fang by Jack London. My dad must have bought this for me. He keeps telling me I need to read Jack London. I don't know. I mean, Jack London doesn't seem like my sort of thing. Maybe I'll give it a try. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I ever read this. This feels like it has never been opened. and the pictures are not colored in. I don't think I ever read this. It feels like it has never been opened before. Sorry, Dad. Then we have King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Man, why did my younger self not read this? I love legends and mythologies and King Arthur and that sort of thing. I don't know, maybe I did, but this one at least feels like it's been opened. But again, none of the pictures are colored in. So evidently, I didn't like it that much. But, okay, here's that one. And this last one, A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I think this one was bought for me when I was kind of starting to age out of this, so I think I started it and then never finished. Again, at least this one feels like it's been open, but none of the pictures are colored in. Yeah, I read a lot of these, and some of the ones that I read and really loved, I now love the regular version of those novels. I do actually have a copy of Little Women up there, which I haven't gotten to yet because it's really, really long. But someday I want to read the adult version because Jo March is my hero. So guys, those are just some of my favorite childhood books. Let me know if you want me to make a part 2 of this video, because I know there are so many other books I loved as a child that really inspired my love for reading and that I would love to talk about in another video. Also, let me know in the comments what your favorite books were as a child. What is the book that made you love reading? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye! See you next time.